Husband, 30M, and I, 28F, opened our relationship and now everything is terrible. My husband and I have been married for 6 years. Together for 8. My husband, I'll call him Eric, has always been a really intense person, but he's a good man. When we got together, I noticed he had a much higher sex drive than I did. But I would usually have sex with him when I wasn't in mood anyway because I love him. He's never vocalized any problems until somewhat recently. I should also mention, just before we got married we talked about having kids. I'm indifferent to kids whereas he doesn't want them. So agreed not to have them. Over the last year my sex drive has been almost non-existent. I've been checked by doctors and they say nothing is wrong physically, but I should talk to a therapist, which I haven't done yet. I haven't even been able to just have sex with him to have sex like I was doing. About 4 months ago he sat me down and we talked about all this and he said he needs sex. Which I told him I understood, but I can't give that to him right now. We argued for a bit and he ended up sleeping on the couch. In the morning he suggested we open the relationship. I was heartbroken. He explained that we either give this a try or end the relationship. So I agreed. We set boundaries. No bringing the person to our house ever. No talking about it. Always use protection and regularly get tested. He agreed to all of this. I was actually surprised how okay I was with this as the months moved along. Even when he'd text me that he's going to be late, or when he'd kiss me and tell me has plans that night, it almost felt like a burden was lifted from me. Well, yesterday my husband sat me down again and said he's something really difficult to tell me. For the last couple of months he's been seeing this one girl and she's pregnant. I think I dissociated a little because I heard him talking but couldn't understand the words he was saying. When I came back to reality I asked if it was his and is she keeping it. Yes and yes. And he plans on being in this child's life actively. I asked him who she was and he told me. It's someone I know. Not well, but I do know who she is. I'm utterly heartbroken. I haven't told family or friends yet. I asked him not to. I asked him if he wants a divorce. He didn't say no. He's basically leaving it up to me. So I guess my question is, do I cut my losses and move on or give this marriage another try? You agreed to an open relationship you didn't want instead of just ending the marriage. Obviously now you need to end the marriage. You didn't want to be in an open relationship. And you are obviously not going to be okay with your husband raising some other woman's kid. This is probably just a troll post. But if it isn't, divorce is clearly the answer. Just end it. It's over. Are you getting anything out of this marriage other than someone to split bills with? You didn't mention how you handle finances in the relationship. Be aware that your husband's impending parenthood with someone else certainly impacts his finances. And that, in turn, will affect yours. If your finances are wholly separate, his ability to do fun stuff like travel or go in on a house remodel or even splash out at a nice restaurant is going to be constrained by child-rearing expenses. If your finances are joint, congratulations. You're now underwriting the family he's creating with another woman. Money aside, the introduction of a child adds a time constraint to your life that wasn't there before. Your husband has announced he intends to be an active parent. Any weekend plans you want to make, you'll have to make sure they don't interfere with his family time. Same for holiday plans if you're the celebrate Christmas types. That whole period is about to be hijacked for the magic of the holidays with children. Your husband has made it clear that he's centering his life and his wants, and whether or not you're along for the ride is your call. What are you getting out of this arrangement? You two were sexually incompatible, and instead of just ending things, you took this path. This was always going to be a risk. I'm sorry it happened. I think you'd be best off to step away as it's going to be messy. Why would you want to be with someone that went against the agreement you both had together by getting someone pregnant and also reneging on the fact that he didn't want kids? Can you really envision your future of being the side piece and afterthought when there's a child involved? Staying with him when he wants to be involved in raising a child outside of your marriage with someone else just sounds like hell on earth waiting to happen. Opening up a relationship almost always leads to a failing marriage's end point. I would also start that therapy as of yesterday, as this is a whole new ball game. Here's what really happened. He knew you didn't want to lose him, so he gave the open or divorce ultimatum. But he had already started checking out and knowingly used the open relationship to shop around and start moving on without having to give up anything. And now he's put the burden of officially ending it on you so he can tell people later that everything that happened was your choice. He's also counting on you being emotionally devastated and not thinking clearly so that you aren't thinking clearly about your own best interests. He has no respect for you, doesn't care how much he's hurt you, and has already built a new life without you right under your nose. Your best course of action is telling him you need him to stay away to give you time to think, then use that time to book therapy and meet with the most shark-like lawyer you can find and file for divorce. Don't tell him. Just let him get served and direct all communication to go through your lawyer. He wants everything his way. Don't give it to him. Just leave. You're a third wheel in your own marriage. No. Call a divorce lawyer and move on. I'm sorry to be blunt, but continuing this will put more of an ocean between you. They will build a relationship bonding over baby. He will probably go to ultrasounds with her, watch her give birth, need to be there while she recovers, get to know the baby, and it will just go on and on. Ditch your husband now, or you can watch him ditch you slowly. Apart from all the people jumping on here in a complete rush to judgment, my first question to you is what the rest of your relationship is like. You haven't provided any real details on this. Physical intimacy is, of course, a big part of a romantic relationship. But if you were no longer interested in sex, were you still actively enjoying the rest of your life together as a couple? Do you care about him having sex with other people because you don't want him to be with other people, or because you feel some internal guilt about not being his sexual partner? I ask this because you mentioned that you haven't gone to see a therapist yet, which raises the question, why? If this part of the relationship matters to you or him, shouldn't this be a priority for you? It's okay if it isn't. It just means that you need to look closely at the reasons for your actions too, not just his. Even if he is an asshole for not sticking to your agreement, it is likely going to be important to address some of the internal things going on with you so that you can both decide what is best for you. Begin healing from the trauma of all of this, and start to decide what the appropriate next steps are. Cut your losses and move on. This marriage was over when he sat you down and wanted to open the marriage up. This is going to end sooner than later, especially when the other person has the kid. So save yourself the pain. Most heartbreaking thing I've heard. You should end it before he does. Girl, it's over. Well, he obviously didn't use protection. And you should have made another rule of not being with people you know. It's over. Move on. Get a divorce. You two are not sexually compatible. You said that for the last year your libido has been non-existent, so in the last year what have you both been doing to figure out the issue? You said your doctor suggested you seek a therapist, but you didn't. Why? Did you open the relationship instead of finding a therapist? Were you planning on finding a therapist? No matter what, your marriage is never going to be the same, especially if he chooses to be involved in the baby's life. You need to do what's best for you. And in this situation, it's definitely divorce. Opening up a relationship is a very slow and painful way of starting a divorce. SMH. The minute you agreed to open the relationship up was you signing your husband away to another woman. It baffles me that people not only do this but think this is positive. Just leave. Save yourself the heartache and get a divorce. You'll be happier in the long run. How long ago was the open up talk and how pregnant is this girl? Because he may not have polyamoried you so much as retroactively got consent on his cheating. What are the logistics of his upcoming fatherhood? Is he paying child support? Going after partial custody? How often is he hoping to have the kid living in his home? Will he move in with her or move in his baby mama in with you so the child can be raised in one home? I have a feeling the answer will become clear once you get the answers to some of these questions and realize what they mean for the life you thought you were going to have. Wait, what happened to always use protection? Also, what happened to him not wanting children? Give this marriage another try. No, don't. Your husband knew what he was doing. This woman is pregnant after 4 months of the relationship being open. Suspicious. He gave you the ultimatum: either open the marriage or he'd leave. You stayed. He slept with someone who he's probably been talking to this whole time. Girl, get the ball rolling. Speak with lawyers. Plan the exit and get yourself situated.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.